welcome to my reaction commentary video for The Boys Season 3, Episode 8. This will be the final episode of the season. Let's get to it.
When you're as strong as we are, accidents happen. They are the things that you love the most. But that's all it is. An accident. And nobody on this earth knows that better than me. That's why I'm always going to love you. I'm not going anywhere. I will always be here.
Our final episode of the season opens with Homelander showing up where Ryan is, his son. Another thing that surprises me. I did not see that coming. But, I did kind of forget about Ryan. So, in the way the episodes are framed, it's very easy to forget about things until they pop up again. That's fine. That's not a problem. It works well. So I was pleasantly surprised. So far, at least that I can remember, Homelander has only been pretty good when it comes to his son. Granted, he's had very limited time, and the only times he gets violence around him is when people try to take him away. If you found out you had a kid and they tried to take him away, yeah, you get ticked too. At least as far as I can remember, he didn't do anything bad in regards to Ryan. He pushed him off a roof once, I remember that. You gotta fly, push. He did not fly. Granted, he's also super durable, so I'm sure the fall barely hurt him. Probably scared him more than hurt him. Yes, you shouldn't push your kid off a roof, even if they're supposed to be able to fly. It's the same as trying to push your kid into a pool to teach them to swim. That doesn't teach anything. Might traumatize them, but that's about it. Excited to see where this final episode goes. Woo!
Move Maeve out of the tower.
It was your idea.
You were there.
I wasn't.
Gets that repetitive storyline where, oh, we gotta make this really bad idea of a transfer happen so that then she can escape. That is in so many frickin' works. So Babe got free to the shock of no one once it was time to transfer her. What a great idea that always is. Gotta transfer the serial killer. Oh no, he's escaped. Gotta transfer these prisoners. Oh no, they've escaped. It's such a cliche at this point. It's overdone. Oh, I didn't mention this, but in the last episode, when I was commenting on how Homelander caught Starlight sneaking around Vought or whatever when she was on her way out, I didn't mention the fact that she had her phone recording, streaming to her many millions of followers and fans, so they heard him threaten her. And it apparently was convincing enough. Recorded him threatening to kill Huey. Not all of her fans are outraged, protesting. Vought's points or whatever the fuck has gone down, so they're not doing well. That's why they were moving Maeve, because the investigation was coming. Them trying to do some damage control. Black Noir has shown up with his weird frickin' crazy people animated stuff encouraging him along. It doesn't make any sense, and it's crazy, and that doesn't make sense, but it's fun to watch. So, going with it, we get him returning to Homelander, and has a sign that says, Soldier Boy will come, we kill. I don't know if Homelander is going to want to kill his potential father anymore. I feel like no, because he very much is desperate for someone to love him. And if Soldier Boy could somehow become that person who is both family and loves him, that would be everything to Homelander. We'll just have to see what happens.
There are a couple thousand people in that building. I mean, if he pulls a hero-gasm, he's gonna take the whole place down.
And we take down Soldier Boy before he gets to Homelander.
And save Butcher.
Some people are just past saving.
He don't want to be saved.
He could have dragged me down with him, but he didn't. There's still something good. Deep inside. We save everyone.
I'm really over the casual use of punching people too. It's used so often in TV and movies to shorthand, quick, knock them out. Punch your friend or family member or whoever. Or, oh, we need to transition scenes when we don't want to bother doing any other way of doing it, so just knock them out with a punch. Oh, or maybe I'm mad. I'm gonna full-on punch you, because that's something people will easily forgive or forget. So often that is used in entertainment. And I'm sure it's a thing that's coming with age. I've probably just seen enough works as I've gotten older. I'm just sick of it. I'm over it. I have seen different shows where the same person gets knocked out so many times. It's just everything is no longer realistic watching that because you know how serious a single punch can be to someone. A single punch can kill someone. The human body is bizarre in that it can both take a ton of pain and hurt and punishment, and it can also take so little and completely fail. The same thing that could kill one person can barely hurt another person. It's the weirdest thing. TV shows just love to. So here's where this is coming from. Butcher punches Huey and locks him in the bathroom or the closet of the gas station they stopped at to stop him from taking more Compound V. Instead of, oh, I don't know, this crazy thing called just tell him the truth. Taking too much Compound V will kill you. But no, instead we have to punch someone and lock them up. Rant over. Okay. So that's what happened, and so he called Annie to come pick him up, and she finally told him what was going on, and all Huey had to say about it was, he saved me. Shut up! Ugh. So, Soldier Boy and Butcher are on their own now. Earlier than that, we had a scene with A-Train, and his brother wants to be done with him for good. He knows he murdered Blue Hawk, and he's pissed. He wanted justice in the form of imprisonment. Being able to let the world know what a criminal this guy actually was. And instead, he was murdered. It's going to be covered up. The main reason also seems to be, besides the fact that he's a murderer, he believes that every time he tries to fix something, he makes it worse. And he's got some fair points. So these two might also be done. We get a scene with Maeve. She's with MM and all them. So they all meet up. Her, Huey, Starlight. They kept her at the tower, at Vought Tower. Are you friggin' kidding me? How stupid are these people? Plot's got a plot, though, so here we are. Also, she's real mean. Yeah, she's on the good guy's side, said with quotes. But one of the first things she says is just a completely all uncalled for rude comment to Huey. The heck, man? What a bitch. She might be trying to murder a guy, but she sure does see. Wow, everyone on the show is just awful. I wonder if the end of the episode will culminate in a fight. Yes, it will. Who will come out on top? Make the predictions now. Well, I don't think anybody's gonna die. I feel like it'd be too big of a shakeup to have anyone taken out. I feel like the only one that could possibly get taken out, like put back to sleep or something, would be Soldier Boy. Don't know where they're gonna go with the end of the season. Well, it's supposed to be the boys all together fighting the bigger bad, but we haven't really gotten that. I expected a team up earlier on in the season, and that never actually quite happened, because Butcher already messed up right from the jump, so MM was pissed. Frenchie and them pissed. They never really got working together, not truly. And so I guess by the end, I'm hoping Vought and them will still be the big bad, probably with Homelander and all that. But maybe the group will actually finally be united, and that will be including Maeve and Starlight. That'll be my prediction. I could be 100% wrong, but we'll see.
If Soldier Boy goes through with this, thousands will die. Help us stop him.
It's Vought fucking Tower.
Becca worked in the tower.
You shut your fake hole, Frenchie. No. No.
Butcher's right. Homelander needs to die. That's it, whatever it takes.
Black Noir admits to Homelander that he knew all these years that Soldier Boy was his biological father. So that was a one-way ticket to death. Bye-bye, Black Noir. I'm disappointed. His character just has so much potential. It never really did too much with him. There were a few times in each season where he gets this really badass moment, and we didn't really see that. That's too bad. Just the unorthodox, he can't talk kind of thing. So he does body language, and he's covered all, he doesn't just have his face, because that's covered. There's just so much potential with how to do things with that, and I feel like he was mostly wasted. Soldier Boy and Butcher's trying to make sure you're still doing the plan, right? We have to kill him. He's not really your son, blah, blah. It's a really lame argument. Soldier Boy tells a story about his own father and how his own father didn't physically abuse him, but he was definitely abused. His father didn't love him. He didn't think much of him at all. He always thought of him as a failure, as a worthless kind of person. And when he took the serum and it worked and he became Soldier Boy, his father just said, "You took a shortcut." He's one of those people where you can just never do anything right. Always gonna be negative and cruel. And that would explain why he was such a a-hole himself. Because much like Butcher, a lot of people carry on the abusive nature. While Soldier Boy carried it on in a different way, he still carried that badness with him. So as far as I can tell, this is amounting to, we're gonna get a showdown. We're gonna have Soldier Boy and Homelander perhaps versus everybody else. Let's see how the episode pans out.
Ryan.
Hi, Grandpa.
You see, you have a family. Maybe if I'd raised you, I could have made you better.
Leave him alone! Please!
Get out of here, Ryan!
Stop!
Get out of the building now!
Just stop, please!
Ryan!
I guess we are getting more of sins of the father passed on to the sons here. Wow. There are a lot of these sons are choosing to be bad just like their abusers, just like their fathers. So we got Butcher and his father and Soldier Boy and his father. He literally just told a story about how his father calling him weak and saying he was a disappointment was the worst thing that ever happened to him. So what does he do? He chooses to tell Homelander that same thing? I don't get it. Why would you do the same thing that hurt you? He doesn't even look like he's enjoying it. He's just upset that Homelander needs people. I can say I'm surprised. I guess this will not end up being Homelander and Soldier Boy versus everyone. This is going to become everybody versus Soldier Boy. Huh. I knew from the very beginning when they're like, we need to find Soldier Boy to use against Homelander, that was unlikely. Sure, there was the one fight, but I always assumed Soldier Boy would end up becoming an enemy since, in general, the soups that come on, like in season 2 with Stormfront, we all knew she was going to be bad. She didn't end up being much of a threat. In this case, Soldier Boy actually feels like a legitimate threat. So now it might come down to who's stronger, Soldier Boy or Homelander. Alright, let's make some predictions here. I think it's very possible there could be some deaths. I feel like Maeve is a very strong contender to end up dead. She never usually has very much to do, and it wouldn't be a huge loss to the show to just not have her. I think Huey or someone else is going to end up taking that compound V shot. Huey found a compound V shot right before they all left to come to the tower. Oh, I don't believe I talked about that scene. There's a scene at the apartment where they're all together where Butcher and Soldier Boy basically make everyone get locked in a room so they can go to the tower and kill Homelander. The rest of them have decided they don't want to do that. The fact that there's people at the tower too, it's not worth the extra casualties. Dave is on the side of, oh, who gives a crap? I want to kill Homelander. Team kill Homelander, which is Butcher, Maeve, and Soldier Boy, and team, never mind, that's a terrible idea, we shouldn't do that kind of thing, which is everybody else. Which I liked. Everybody else, that team, I like them. Not just because of that decision, but all of those people together, whenever they're trying to do good, it's so great to watch them. I remember a lot of that happening in season 1, which was really fun to see. So my predictions are going to be people could get killed. I think somebody's going to take that compound V shot that Huey found right before he left. Nobody else knows about it, just him. He's either going to take it, and I don't think, if he ends up taking it, I don't think he's going to die. I think he will have a very serious side effect. But if somebody else takes it, then they could die. We'll see. I just can't really see them killing off any of the main characters. I could see Butcher going, but assuming they want to keep their show going, they're not going to kill Butcher. It depends how many seasons they're going to do. I suppose if they plan to wrap up the story in a matter of another season or 2, sure, anybody can die right now. Assuming they want to just keep this going and keep this going, nobody in the main cast of heroes and villains, or whatever you want to call them. They're all kind of villains and heroes at the same time. No one in the main cast is going, if that's the case, except for maybe Maeve, which I wouldn't even consider her a main character since she just kind of pops in here and there. A-Train, if he gets involved, I could see him going. I don't think anything's going to happen to the Deep. Essentially, I don't feel like anyone in the main cast is going to go, except for maybe Maeve. And maybe someone else I'm not thinking of that I'm just not thinking of. I suppose Ryan could die. I don't think he will, but he could, I guess. I really do like the scenes where we get with Homelander and Ryan. There are not very many of them, but when you get them, he does genuinely seem to care about his son. Not that he's really given enough time to prove himself either, so it's kind of complicated. So yeah, I guess I don't really have many predictions, except I don't think anyone important's gonna die. Soldier Boy might end up getting dosed with that toxin thing and end up back in sleep. That's the most I could think could happen. He'll get dosed. Frenchie will make it, he gets dosed, and then he gets put back into sleep. Problem solved. Status quo kind of resumed, where Homelander's still in charge of Vought. The boys are still just kind of outliers, just kind of there. Let's find out.
Attention, there has been a terrorist threat called into the building. Please leave as quickly as you can. This is not a drill, this is not a test.
Huey's warning sets off the action for the final fight. I'm very disappointed with Kimiko because I thought she was fantastic all season and showing some real growth. And now she's just evolved into this animalistic attacker again. And we're supposed to think it's good because she's doing it for her family. You're slaughtering people. There's a difference between knocking people out or killing them because you have to, than just she's brutalizing these men that are just doing their job, their security at Vought. It's really disturbing to watch, and I'm not enjoying this at all. It's very upsetting. It's too bad. They did everything right, I felt like, with her until this moment. Damn shame. Then we have Maeve, who refuses to put aside her grievances for the greater good, and she is full on attacking Homelander, trying to kill him. It's not going well for her because he's much stronger. She can't win on her own, and at this point it just feels suicidal. Huey's character, on the other hand, I'm really proud of. The show has consistently done a much better job with his character than anyone else, I would say, from season 1 on. In this season, they did really well with him. He stayed in character, but he was changing and evolving and changing. It's so fascinating to watch with how he will react to any given situation. And here's no different. He has that compound V in his hand. He's worried, maybe I need to use this to save Starlight. She's in danger. He can see on the cameras. And instead of using it, he figures out another way. Instead of using it and going to the rescue, he figures out a way to give Starlight more power by upping the power use in the room so that she can absorb it and become stronger, to the point that she's even flying up in the air. And it's great because it also works as a metaphor for a relationship. You want to build up each other. You want to build up the other person and make them as strong as they can be. That's a good relationship. Assuming that was all intentional. Well done show. Wow. Ending the fight, we see Maeve go out the window. She pulls a sacrifice play instead of for revenge against Homelander, who she couldn't have beat anyway. Let's face it. But she chooses to pull the sacrifice move to take out Soldier Boy because even though they got the mask over his head to drug him, he didn't want to go back to the hell of being trapped in a cage, tortured and all that. Understandable. So he was determined to blow up instead. I'm unclear though. As far as I understand, if he blows up, he's still fine. And then we get Ryan, who goes to Homelander and wants to get out of there, which makes sense since all of this is terrible. Butcher is somehow surprised a bit that he wants to go with Homelander. You guys just showed up and tried to kill Homelander, his father. Yeah, he's gonna be a little bit upset and want to go with the guy you just tried to murder. It really does put into that perspective right in that very scene. Wow, we just spent a whole season watching our protagonist plot to kill another person. Even if that person is considered a villain and a murderer and does a bunch of bad stuff, which it's difficult at this point to really... How is Homelander any different than everybody else at this point? That's the problem. So it makes it easier for me to just go, well, he doesn't deserve to get murdered. You guys don't deserve to get murdered. I hope eventually what happens is that Vought just becomes the big bad. We get to see our main cast of characters go up against Vought. I don't know if they'll go that way, but that'd be much cooler than Butcher or Homelander eventually ending up dead. Because I feel like either way, that's kind of boring. It's definitely going to be very interesting to see where the next season goes. I'm intrigued.
If you're gonna be working here,
Butcher isn't gonna like it.
Butcher can suck my shit. From now on, this is a democracy, huh? I say you one of the boys.
me too.
Alright, the end of the episode and the end of the season. A bit to unpack. Multiple members of MM's family did die. He mentioned to his daughter as he finally tells her what happened in the story. Maeve is somehow alive. I'm not sure why they didn't just kill her. She has nothing to do. Just kill her. This is a case of not letting anybody go. You'll kill all these side characters in horrible, gruesome ways, but your main cast, they're immune? Well, yeah, they did kill off Black Noir. True. And that dude that Starlight used to know. Yeah, I just feel, out of all the people that died this season, is Black Noir really disappointed. I didn't really get to see Soldier Boy alive enough in his time. What I'm trying to say is, everyone says he's an asshole. He's probably an asshole. Well, from what we see of him, he's a bit of an asshole. I still feel really bad that he has to live put to sleep like that. That's his literal nightmare. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I do get the impression it's possible. CIA chick, the one who was looking after Ryan before, I get the impression, because she's looking over Soldier Boy put into cryo sleep or whatever that's supposed to be, and I just get the impression that it's possible she might try to use him in the future. She certainly has always had her own goals and things. Don't see why that would stop now. It looks like the Deep's wife has officially ended it, or they seem to be done. We saw Deep alone in his room, and his wife or ex-wife is on the TV. She wrote a book about him being a bad person, blah, blah, blah. Basically, she's playing the victim again. She acted like the victim with the cult, and now she's acting like the victim with her marriage with him. She's a conniving, manipulative bitch, and I'm glad they're not together anymore if that's the case. She spent most of the season whispering in his ear, or telling him what to do. She's better off elsewhere if that is what is going to happen. We'll see. I don't know what is in store next season. With the boys, we have Starlight actually quitting for real, and she's going to be joining them. Butcher didn't tell anybody, but it would appear he is dying. Although it is unclear if it's the Compound V that did it, or he just has cancer or something. They didn't go into any specifics whatsoever. But it's nice to see the gang together, and they're going to be a democracy. No more Butcher telling them what to do. That's the team up I wanted this season. So hopefully we'll get that next season. Vicky wasn't in much of the season, actually. It seemed like at the end of the last season with her reveal that she would have more to do. Not so much. Which is fine. She had a bit to do. I mean, she got rid of Edgar and all that. And seems to be working with Homelander, which could lead to something interesting in the future. Now she is going to be VP for the guy that's running for president, who Homelander is backing. I'm not sure exactly if they are going to have a deal going on or what that is. But something I didn't mention earlier was Homelander had the Deep go and kill the original VP, or potential candidate VP for that guy, to make room for Vicky to have a place. So we definitely have Homelander and the Deep, and now Ryan and Vicky and this potential president all on one side. I had a good laugh when Butcher was like, that bitch has definitely got to go. I couldn't agree more. Head popping psycho has got to be taken out. She is a viable target. I would have to say the most unbelievable thing for me, though, was the very, very end, where we got Homelander. He's saying hi to people that are protesting Starlight and Soldier Boy. Homelander arrives, and then he introduces his son, and someone throws something that hits his son and says something rude. No one to keep him in check, and him being honest this season, he murders the guy, straight up. And Ryan likes it. That to me seemed, it just didn't really fit. It was sort of like the really randomness of the The very last scene, I believe, for season 2 was Homelander like jerking off on a rooftop and weeping, and it didn't fit at all with the season. It felt out of place, and I later found out this was later. Okay, it already felt out of place to me, and then I later found out it was originally meant to go in season 1. And I thought, yeah, that fits because it doesn't fit here. So here with this scene, I also just don't think it fits. Where Ryan would approve of his dad killing someone, even if it's for him, especially in such a brutal way. He lasers the guy's head off or in or whatever. It's a mush. Even if I can accept that, the fact that the crowd ends up cheering it on and being like, yeah, good, nah. People are dumb. I can maybe see a few being so stupid that they would be like that. Even the dumbest of the dumb are going to see that and be like, well, shit, that could be me like that. Look, if people were that casual with murder, we wouldn't have a society for the most part. I don't know. I just didn't find this very last scene very believable at all. So I'm a little bummed about that. Okay, that is episode end and the end of the season. Season 3. I rated it an 8. And I rated it an 8 because there are good things and bad things in this episode. There's some uneven tone, some uneven pacing. We have the Deep randomly going off to kill somebody that just kind of cuts in. Certain deaths and certain survivals that seem... Maybe if they would have been a little more clear about how things work and how things were happening, it would be fine. But otherwise, what we got is no real storyline for Black Noir, so that was hugely disappointing, and now he's just dead. Then we have apparently an immortal Soldier Boy and Homelander. So maybe their best hope is to drug and blow him up and then put him in cryo sleep if they want to get rid of him. It's complex. It just felt like it didn't stick the landing for me. The battle was well done and it was exciting, but there were parts of it where it was so frustrating. It's still a high rating. It was still a good episode, and that's why it's an 8, because there are still really good things in here, and a lot of the episode, most of the episode, is good. It's just every now and then it dips into a lower quality, into a more nonsensical. It's just not worth more than an 8. I can't budge. I thought about giving it a 9 at first, but there are just too many things in here that bring it down for me. And that's with the uneven tone and pacing and just sort of the flip-flopping around and not really understanding motivation sometimes with people and the way the story is told. It lacks credibility in places. So I give it an 8. It's still a really good episode, and it was a very good season. Definitely recommend. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay entertained.